Hello and welcome to The Good, the Bad and the Worst, a podcast where we review movie trilogies and assess which film amongst them is some motherfucker always trying to ice skate uphill. I'm your host, I'm not even a vampire, just a familiar, and joining me tonight are...
I'm Griner, and it's open season on all suckheads.
I'm Luke, and there's an old saying, kill one man, you're a murderer. Kill a million, a king. Kill them all, a god.
I don't even remember that quote from these movies, but it's a good one.
It was from Lincoln in the third one, from Prison Break.
Oh, not from Lincoln, the movie. Yeah, okay, anyway, we'll get there. All right, we're talking about Blade, the classic Wesley Snipes Marvel vampire hunting trilogy. The first Marvel films, I think, that we sort of know in any sort of modern context, which most people forget about. Did you guys see these? I feel like these are cult classics that everyone had sort of seen, even if they're nobody's necessarily favorite film. I kind of put them in the same caliber as like The Matrix. They're just things that people grew up, who were alive then watched. Did you guys see them?
I hadn't. This was my first watching of these three movies. I hadn't seen any of them. I think the first Blade came out, I was probably a bit young to see it, and then I just didn't watch any of the sequels, I guess. I don't know, but I would have loved these movies if I had seen them when they came out. And I remember kids in my year at school loving these movies and talking about how cool they were. I was more a Matrix kid. I went a different way with the black leather jackets, but
yeah,
there's two directions you can go, I guess.
Speaking of Venn diagrams, though, yeah, leather jacket consumption is like.
I also had never seen any of these movies. And yeah, like it's something that I guess I went in a different direction. I watched Grandma's Boy. So that was my black leather jacket thing that I was into. And The Matrix. But yeah, so I'd seen The Matrix when I was younger, but never had seen any of these films. And I guess it was the same thing that it kind of was like a black spot for me where I didn't really know much about these films. And I think, when the first one came out, I would have been too young and I was like, oh, that's scary. But yeah, didn't know much about these films at all. And then kind of like watching it, took me back by I don't know, I was like, how have these eluded me all these years? You know what I mean? Like I felt watching them, I was like, oh, this is like a cult classic. Like this is like a classic. How have I not been part of this zeitgeist? But had avoided them all these years, never seen them. My first introduction to Blade was Deadpool vs. Wolverine. So
that cameo would have really meant a lot for you.
It still did.
Yeah.
But it would have meant even more had I watched these. So it's a shame.
I didn't even realize that these were Marvel movies until well after they came out. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess Marvel wasn't the thing it was at the time that these movies came out, obviously, but
this is before Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Before
this is the first Marvel film. It's crazy.
So this is the thing. So these were made by Marvel Enterprises, or the first two were. So it was still by Marvel, but it was before they had sort of reached any sort of Marvel Studios in terms of like the film thing. So they were still dabbling how to do it. I think this was right around just after their sort of near bankruptcy. So they were in a weird spot. They were trying to figure out what to do. So the first and second are produced by Marvel Enterprises, not Marvel Studios. So you could if you want to be pedantic about it, these technically wouldn't be the first ones that we know because they don't have that iconic Marvel crawl at the beginning. That really starts with the X-Men. So X-Men is kind of the first modern one that has that flavor. However, these movies are definitely the DNA of these movies are throughout the entire MCU and through all superhero movies, both in terms of kind of the quippiness that we come to expect, but also like the edginess that we come to sort of expect in some. And like David S. Goyer is essential to these movies, and he goes on to write like the Batman reboots, which aren't Marvel but a superhero. And so kind of the dark, broody Batman films that, The Dark Knight ends up becoming the biggest superhero movie in the world. This is all this stuff comes back to Blade. If we do a red web like Charlie Day, these are all linking back to Blade. It's pretty important. And I'm honestly surprised you guys never saw these. Like, I just feel like these were the ultimate DVD films. Everybody owned this on DVD. Everyone was like, let's watch an edgy 2000s vampire rave.
Blade was R18 plus. Like, it was. I don't know. I was not watching those movies when I was 10 years old. I'm sorry.
Appropriate movies.
Soft cocks.
When we were kids.
Couple soft cocks.
I think my main thing with it was I remember hearing about the Blade movies when Blade Trinity came out because I was like, oh, Triple H is in it. So it was making the rounds in my
course.
WWE circles. I was like, oh,
Big deal, big
Triple
deal.
Triple H is the lead in a new movie. This is exciting. And then I don't know why I always had this thing that it because you would have thought when I got super into Marvel, I would go back and have watched these films. Like I watched Eternals for crying out loud, but like
Yikes.
I don't know why I just always had this thing of like Wesley Snipes was a bit of a dick. And so I felt like I didn't want to support it in a way. And when I was sort of looking into this when I was watching these movies recently, I kind of was like, there's not too much found in that. Obviously, there was disputes he had with castmates and stuff like that. And I think the most famous thing was like, there was a scene where he'd refused to open his eyes and they had to CGI open his eyes. Where it's just like, what a douchebag thing to do. Like, I'm just going to refuse to open my eyes for this scene. And I just always had this negative view of him, and I really hadn't seen him in much else or anything like that. So it was, I guess, that had always turned me away from these movies.
You weren't a classic.
Yeah.
You weren't a fan of the classic Demolition Man.
No, I've never seen it.
That movie's great. You should watch Demolition Man.
Yeah, like Wesley Snipes is definitely one of the, he's a compelling actor, but he is like he's kind of like he's a late Gen X, early millennial actor. Like not him as in he's for that audience. Like people who are maybe 10-ish years above us or 20 years above us. People who, Gen X who grew up in the 80s were watching things like Demolition Man and sort of watching like Wesley Snipes' early stuff, and then into the 90s when he was thriving. Like if you're a bit older than us, I think Wesley Snipes was a really big deal. For me, I had no idea who he was except for this movie, right? I think this was the only movie I'd ever seen him in. It's still one of the few that I've seen him in. I haven't seen any of his stuff because he does a lot of that pulpy action. And then after Blade Trinity, he has some legal problems that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of like, he's a pretty important actor for a group of people that are kind of not quite us. But then at the same time, so I think, if you're 10 years above us, this movie would have been, like say, growing, this kind of would have defined a group of people. Like they would have gone to school being like, this is the coolest shit. I mean, like his merchandise everywhere. I own a Blade sword somewhere. I think I've given it to someone else, but
you say, but you'd think you'd have it for the podcast if you did.
No, I've screwed up. And I'm a boring old man. I don't have my swords out on display. But I remember I got it for my birthday because I was like, I really wanted a sword. And I was like, the Daywalker sword is bitchin'. Like, I don't know. Wesley Snipes is very cool. All right, let's do some stats.
Stats.
So Blade. Released in 1998, directed by Stephen Norrington, written by David S. Goyer. $45 million budget, made $131.2 million at the box office with a Metascore of 47. Blade 2, released in 2002, directed by Guillermo del Toro, written by Goyer once more. This one was made for $54 million and it made $155 million, a bit more. Has a Metascore of 52. And then Blade Trinity in 2004, written and directed by David S. Goyer this time, so he takes on both roles. $65 million budget, made $132 million, which is way more than I thought. Metascore of 38. So a big drop off there. Luke, you're a David S. Goyer fan, aren't you? Am I getting that right?
You recall my memory of other stuff he's done, because I know that name, and as you said it, I was like, I am a fan of him. I'm like, but I feel like I've been out of the loop where I've like, what has he done?
Yeah, he's kind of like essential to a lot of this stuff. Like he wrote
done a lot of stuff, right? Yeah.
He wrote wrote Nolan's Batman's films sort of with him. So he's kind of like I think he wrote the bones of Batman Begins, and then Nolan sort of polished it up. Wrote Dark City.
Great film.
Proyas's sci-fi film, which is great. Yep.
He wrote the story for Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yes, that's when I...
Yeah, did he do a Metal Gear Solid game or something?
I think maybe.
He's done a lot of video game stuff, I think.
Oh, Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah.
And Jumper as well, he was involved with.
Oh, he wrote The Crow City of Angels, of course, which we all watched for the podcast that we did on that.
Yes, we did. What a time. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I thought you were a big fan of his. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting... Is there another Goyer? Is there another David Goyer or something?
He feels like a name we should know, right? Like, heavily involved in the Batman movies, Blade movies, later superhero movies, but even, like, some of his TV stuff is pretty well regarded too by the looks of things, like The Sandman. I never watched that, but it's supposed to be really good. Foundation's supposed to be pretty good.
He did the Constantine reboot, which meant to be okay. Yeah, he has done a lot of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, very influential, I guess, in kind of the superhero-y. I don't know what you really call that.
The nerd movies.
Yeah, teenage nerd stuff, I guess. But yeah, pretty important. All right. Before we start in the movie, I just want to go through some trivia quickly, which I thought was fun. There was an unsuccessful TV show released for Blade in 2006, as well as corresponding. No, it came out earlier. It was about spinning tops. There was also a video game in each movie. Which did any of you guys play any of the Blade games?
I miss the times when every movie got a video game, though. They were simpler times.
Great. The King Kong game was all time. It was great.
What did you do in that game?
Kill dinosaurs. It was like Turok, basically. You're like under dinosaurs and
just what I imagine when I think of King Kong.
Play as a giant ape. Nah, let's kill dinosaurs.
I think there were a few levels where you fought dinosaurs as King Kong as well.
Nice.
Like, I just remember you breaking their neck. It was really cool. Really good.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. I said it before at the top, but this is the first successful sort of Marvel film. Obviously, the success of this marks X-Men to go on and get made 2 years later, and the rest is history. The original creators of this, was it someone Wolf? Why didn't I write this down? Sorry, I'm really bad at my job. Someone Wolfman and someone else.
The Wolfman made this, sure.
Marv Wolfman?
Yes, that's him. Sorry, Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. Sorry, they're the two creators, the writer and the illustrator, respectively. They tried to sue after these movies, claiming that they weren't bound by work-for-hire contracts. So they basically tried to say, we own these characters. They didn't win that court case, but it just goes to show the fickle nature of contract work for creative industries and why you should never trust any capitalist system. And Wesley Snipes, interesting character. I said, has a big career. A couple of years after Blade Trinity happens, he ends up getting charged with tax fraud, convicted to 3 years in prison. He serves 28 months, so 2 years, 4 months, which I'd forgotten about. It seems like it should be a bigger deal. Like, pretty huge actor, just, I don't know, serving 2.5 years in jail.
Tax fraud is a very, what's the word? Like... I don't know. On the list of crimes people will hold against you, it's pretty low on the totem pole, I'd say, right?
Who's the victim? The government?
That's right.
It's very victimless. But.
Yeah. Will somebody think of the billionaires? But yeah, that's the thing. I didn't know about that until I was like, why did I always have a thing against this guy? And I was like Googling, Wesley Snipes controversies. I was like,
because you're pro taxation. You're like, how dare he take that?
Very much, and that made me angry when I saw it because I was like, I can't believe I watched this guy's movies. And finding out that he
didn't go by the establishment.
He didn't pay the man, but he did his time. So that's all
right. But yeah, that kind of affects his whole career though. After that, because then after these, he starts to make a lot of B-grade direct-to-video DVD things like The Marksman, Chaos, The Detonator, The Contractor.
Did it not really feel like then, I guess, his return to mainstream Hollywood with Deadpool Wolverine, coming back as Blade again? Or
there's Expendables 3, which is kind of mainstream.
And kind of playing into the joke of who he is. And
yeah.
I would say... Yes, but is a cameo as Blade really a return to Hollywood? Like, I wouldn't consider that a
big movie. It did $1 billion at the box office, and he's a decent part in that. No, it's like the scene in the movie that people talk.
It's a fun part for sure. Yeah. I don't know, that kind of actor who was that 80s schlocky action hero, unless they can branch out and find something else, what do they do when they get older, right? Like.
No, you're right, yeah.
Like, has he ever shown to have comedy chops? I've never seen them. Has he ever done, like, a serious dramatic role that people enjoy? Not that I've seen, not that I've heard about. Like, you can't be that 80s action hero forever unless you go back and do something like The Expendables, which there has been a slate of, like, old people do action movies in recent years, to be fair. Yes. But,
yeah. No, you are exactly right. Like, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as the big one, obviously, but he sort of got into comedy in his prime and was doing
Yeah.
both. And he's been making movies ever since, but none of them have ever been anything close to like
Bingle all
significant,
the
right?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No way.
Stallone, say what you will
Underrated
about him,
film.
he's had his dramatic roles and he's found other things to do with his time. But
Yeah, Stallone, like, honestly, probably has had the more interesting career in that sense. Like, he did actually make real dramas and really try to be a real actor. Schwarzenegger was happy to be the ultimate, like, funny man slash action hero. And he's done a handful of small dramas, but he's never really shown interest in being like, I want to be an actor, quote unquote.
yeah.
And yeah, like,
Bruce
Wesley
Willis,
Snipes,
another one.
yeah.
But see, Bruce
Yeah.
Willis had other chops, right? Like
Yeah.
he could do comedy, he could do maybe not drama, but no, he did his drama
Sixth
pieces
Sense?
too. Sixth Sense, yeah.
Like, he had a handful.
But like if you look at someone like Van Damme or like there's so many of them who just
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
just go on to do
Yeah, they all-
garbage.
Any success they have is usually rekindling it. Like, Dolph Lundgren was in Creed 2. Van Damme plays himself in JCVD, which is kind of like this meta narrative about people like him. Yeah, it is hard for these. Yeah, you're right. Like 80s action stars, they kind of had a specific niche that died with the 80s, and it is tricky. But anyway, I don't know. Did you guys like him in these movies?
I did. I think he was great in these movies. I'm a big fan. I'm a big defender of Demolition Man. I'm surprised you guys haven't seen it. I can't believe you don't know how to use the 3 seashells. I'm very disappointed.
Motherfucker, you've never seen Blade, okay? Just calm down.
No, but I liked him in these. Like, I think, he will be Blade now. Like, I can understand why any other casting will be fraught, I guess, to some extent.
There's only ever been one Blade. There'll only ever be one Blade, when I started watching this, so literally maybe half an hour into the first movie, I was sitting there and I was like, fuck, he's cool. I was like,
He is.
damn, he is cool. Like, just, I don't know, just like the style, even like aesthetically, like he just looks very unique. He's got the hair like shaped like super neat, and he's got the tribal tattoos on his head and like the sword. It's just, and just the way he, like, I don't know, talks and everything. Like the first scene with him in like one of the hospitals, and like the cops come in and he's just like, motherfucker, and like saying to them. I was just like, oh, this is great. Like I'm along for this ride. But like you can't deny, like as soon as that movie starts and like you have the nightclub scene, he just comes in. It's just like, this is stylistic and he is cool. And straight away I got it, where I was just like, nah, I get it now. I was like, he is really cool. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. Even though he evaded that tax, like, I'll give it to him. He's pretty cool. So,
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good segue. Let's talk about Blade 1. So Blade, a half vampire, half human, who has become a fierce vampire hunter, must stop dirty blood vampire Deacon Frost from his plan to awaken the blood god Lamagra and take over the world. Yeah, look, Wesley Snipes is so fucking cool. I'd forgotten. Like, there are people who have got it, there are people who don't. There are people who can sort of make it, and people who you can be like, yeah, I've warmed up to them. But yeah, from the opening scene, it's like this dude just carries himself in such a way. It's like he knows he's in a comic book movie, and he's like, people read those for panels. You have panels, and you have specific images that show cool things. And he sort of has this knack of being like, this is how I stand and it looks cool. This is how I walk. I'll pose this way. I'll catch this thing and like flex my arm in such a way that just looks like a comic book panel. And we've totally lost that in modern comic book movies, whatever, but he just knows exactly what to do. And there's there's never a moment of like, oh, this guy's trying too hard. It's like, no, he is the coolest guy in the room.
I was amazed how they kind of solved that problem in this movie so like effortlessly. Like the first time they did it, this feels like a comic book movie, and yeah, you're right, like they do the poses, they do the stills like a comic book movie, and it works so well, comes off so cool, doesn't feel like it's trying too hard, doesn't feel strange or out of place. I don't know, I was amazed at how well this movie just comes together and works. Like it's just cool, just gets it.
Has his superhero landings? I feel like he's one of the first people to do that. Like, and it's like that's just become a whole thing. But yeah, like I don't know, just he's got the riz, as the kids say. He's got the charisma
Before
the Rizzler even.
Whoa.
Wesley Snipes walked so the Rizzler could run.
Big claims. Big claims.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
just something so cool about him.
there is something to the because this was new, because there wasn't really a comic book mold to follow. It feels like there wasn't maybe expectations, or there wasn't a sense of like, okay, we have to do this, we have to aim for something, or this is what it looks like. There was a freedom in it, and Goya, conceived this idea and wrote that. And Norrington doesn't go and have a very good career. I think he makes like 2 other films, and they're all a bit crap. But yeah, they're doing something different, like something that kind of hadn't really been done to the same extent. And I guess there's a kind of freedom there that allowed them to do these things where it's like we can just make these images and it looks really cool, and we can just do cool shit. And that's also a bit of a criticism I have. Like, this movie is pure style, no substance. It's like it's a fun time, and it's kind of, I think that's why this movie kind of makes sense to me as like a great DVD watch, a great like sleepover film, because it's just like a really cool way to spend 2 hours. But there is really not a whole lot under the surface, unfortunately. Like, the plot's pretty bad. The characters are all really flat, unfortunately. Like, Blade really needs a bit more. Deacon Frost is the super, super bland.
He's a very boring villain, yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame because they've got all the ingredients for it. It just doesn't quite come together.
So I feel like, yeah, that's all correct. But I think another thing that I had with this, and I'm not sure if I'm alone in this, but I just felt like it does have a lot of style, and it's cool. But I feel like that same style doesn't always translate to when it comes to its action set pieces. Like, I feel like they don't hit that level of like Matrix. People remember like the shootout scenes in Matrix where like, wow, they're stylistic and they're cool. This one, a lot of the times for me, it just felt like shootouts. Like, and people are bursting into flames and stuff like that. But there was never much when it came to actual action where I was like, wow, that was so cool. Like, all the moves he just did, like here and there. But I just felt like overall, it never really wowed me in an action sense where I was like, that same style carries over. But I'm not sure if that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree. I think this movie worked pretty well. Like, you get the nightclub action sequence at the start. I enjoyed that. Like,
that's cool.
They're willing to just have fun and go with it. Like, vampires are exactly as hard to kill as they need to be. Sometimes it's one shot and they burst into flames and they explode and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's a long, drawn-out fist fight because it just needs to be at the time. Like, that's what we need to have a cool scene. You're right. Like, it's surface level. It's schlocky, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't know. It is what it is, but it's cool, and I think it's fun to watch. And the train scene where he's like, they're fighting around in the train tracks. That, I don't know, all of that worked really well for me. I think the final set piece was a little bit lame in the underground catacombs. Like, didn't do a ton for me.
To be honest, I think that's the one where I sort of thought it had this thought as well. So, like, because the nightclub scene is really cool. You're right, and the train sequence is cool. So, yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Like, this movie is nearly 30 years old now, and so obviously every action movie that's come from it, every Marvel film that's come from it, has kind of built on top of this. So the action and the CG, like the CG in this movie is a bit, like, pretty rough in parts. All the skeletons and stuff falling apart is, but again, sort of cheaper and harder to do. So you got to take that as it is. And like, this has got all that kind of that martial arts inspired gun fu. It's like he's doing roundhouse kicks and he's doing like kung fu fused with gunplay. And then we end up having like 20, 30 years of that getting improved on and tweaked on. And like in Blade 2, Donnie Yen becomes the fight choreographer. Donnie Yen goes on to be an incredibly important figure in this scene, and like he ends up making a huge career as an actor and as a stunt guy and a choreographer and other things. So, like, this is kind of that weird, like, this is early days. Like, it's always going to seem a little bit rougher than the stuff that improves on it because this walked so everything else could run.
I think a comparison with The Matrix, like, while not totally unfair, because they did come out within a couple of years of each other, like, The Matrix will always be one of the greatest, gun fu movies ever made. Like, it's not much compares to it at all. But I think for the time it came out and what it's doing, I don't know, it worked for me. Like, you get a lot, I don't know, it always annoys me in these kind of movies where you get those scenes where he's fighting several dudes but only one attacks at a time. Like, he's always got plenty of, he's only got to hit one guy at a time, so it's okay. It feels awkward. And you get a bit of that here and across all three of these movies, really. Yeah.
So, Conan. back in the day, there was a lot of chatter because obviously when Black Panther came out, there was a lot of talk about its relevance of being like the first real black superhero movie. And I remember people came out in defense of Blade at the time, being like, well, Blade did it first, really. And it's something I never really, hadn't watched it. So it was never something I paid attention to. Watching these movies, though, I'm like, is that a fair thing to be like, well, Blade did do it first? So.
Well, I don't know. Do you think so? Did you see this and be like, well, Black Panther's a ripoff?
Well, to think that this is like one of the first Marvel movies, and obviously Blade is a black character, but like to think that this is one of the first Marvel movies, it's kind of I don't know, back then it's kind of a gamble to have like a black lead, like.
It's Wesley fucking Snipes though. Like,
I know.
Come on.
I know what you mean, but like, if I'm saying that 20 years later they were talking about Black Panther being such a big deal for having a black lead superhero, and they did it in the 90s.
There's a theme of like black empowerment within Black Panther that does not exist in these movies.
Yeah, because I remember that. Yeah, I remember that narrative, and that's probably the difference. Like Black Panther was very much like a black big B
black director,
film.
Black cast,
like director, black cast, like all black cast, all about a black story, black identity, everything about that. Like that's true. I think you got to have a couple
Andy
of
Serkis. There's a few
you got
guys in there.
You got to have a couple of crackers in there. You can't, it's just like anyway. So it was definitely like it's like sort of dealing with the subject of blackness, and I guess that was where it was more like this is the first black superhero film. But I agree at that time, and still now, I'm like, yeah, put some respect on Blade's name. Blade was, like I said, the first kind of Marvel superhero film, and it was a black guy. He was Wesley Snipes. He was a kind of a guaranteed property, but this was still something completely different, something that people didn't really know about. Like the average audiences who didn't read comic books were like, "Who is this guy? Who is a vampire hunting? What's going on? This is all a bit weird." And yeah, so I do think this movie deserves more respect.
And unless I'm misremembering, him like being black, it never really is a part of a conversation in these movies. Is that correct, or am I misremembering something?
I know. Yeah, this is a different time. This is a time when there was never this sense of being like having to sort of engage with a person's past or trauma, or under being like, who are you? And him. No, there's never any even suggestion that his race matters. Like he could have been a white guy, he could have been an Asian guy, he could have been anything. It's never once like addressed.
Yeah,
and I would say that's good. Like that, if you bring that in, that then becomes a whole different story.
yeah.
They care more that he's a daywalker. That's his real difference, right? Like,
that's right. Yeah. I guess you could read that as kind of like a coding for being a black guy in white America, where it's like you're a person but you're different. And I don't know. I don't think any of that's there. I don't think any of the team behind this was thinking that hard. Honestly,
no. I think it's a strength for it.
I agree. I think the fact that it doesn't try to deal with that is good. Like, obviously, you can have vampire movies that deal with black identity. See Sinners 2025.
Perfect movie.
This film has
4 star from Conan.
4.5 stars. Very close. Not perfect. Very good film. Like, you don't need to have that in everything. And so, yeah, there's no... If you introduce that, it just complicates it and becomes a whole different film. And that's not what this is. This movie's, like I said, this movie's style. It's not substance. It's not trying to deal with the... It never even delves into, like, really his quote-unquote trauma of being a daywalker. Like, it shows his mum was killed, and it's like, I think Whistler's like, yeah, he hates them because they killed his mum. So, yeah, cool. That's all we need to know. We don't really need to understand how this is shaping him. We just need to know his mum died and he's a vampire and he's compelled. And then we end up getting some sort of weird, pretty sexy scenes with his mum trying to, like, seduce him.
Way too sexy. Yeah. Mother and son scene. Way too sexy.
But, it was the night.
And you said this movie had no substance, Conan.
It's a lot of incest subtext to it, you're right. Very Freudian.
Yeah.
But yeah, kick ass. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we move on?
I did just want to say, like, I appreciate that's the extent of the origin story, right? Like, I feel like a lot of movies at this time got bogged down in origin stories, and this movie's like, nah, here's your little your little look to the past at what happened, and straight ahead, like, very efficient storytelling throughout. Appreciated it.
Yeah.
As
And it
light,
doesn't-
as light and as inconsequential as that story is, it still
And-
doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, and it doesn't like over explain it. It's basically like, hey, there's a pregnant woman and she got bit by a vampire. So
Yep.
put two and two
that's
together.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
so he's
Yeah, it's
half and half,
literally
basically. Yeah.
It's literally like about 60 seconds and then that's it. And it's like, cool, we've got everything set up. It is funny, yeah, because 2 years later, like the next two superhero films, X-Men and Spider-Man, are both origin stories. And their success ends up dictating that sort of...
It was a problem for a long time. Like, you get Hulk movies that are origin stories, you get Iron Man movies that are origin stories. Like, it's a long time before we learned this lesson and kind of realize everybody understands how superheroes come to be what they are.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man
Yeah.
notoriously had that problem of like... Yeah, it's... Yeah, I agree. I appreciated this movie more for not dealing with that. Actually, something I do want to ask you guys before, like it applies to all three films. What do you think of the whole vampire lore and how when movies try to game it? Like in this, there is a scene where Deacon Frost is wearing sunscreen and it's protecting him from the UV. And it's like, okay, so they can go out. They can go out in the day if they wear enough of that. And like they have garlic extract, so it's like that is technically enough. It's like, it's stretching the bounds of the mythology to be like, oh, well, if it's the sun, it's technically the UV doing it, so therefore we can have UV lights, like when they burn that big fat vampire pearl. And, Twilight did this, like with the whole, it's cloudy, so the sun doesn't really get us, and like, this is, a lot of them do. Do you guys like that, or do you guys find that cumbersome? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Felt weak, because it's like, why not just drape yourself in sunscreen all the time?
Yeah, and number two kind of solves this problem as well in a different way that I think is a bit more fun. I still don't love it. I do like when vampire movies like to kind of stick to the constraints of the characters that they're portraying. Like it's more interesting to find ways around that than to be like, oh, here's some sunscreen, now you can go out in the sun. But I kind of like that scene in this movie too. Like it's kind of the way they dispose of this guy. Like they go out and view the sunset with him, and he burns away while they're all covered up and scene. Can get away. I thought that was kind of a cool scene, to be honest. But you're right, it's kind of lame. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah,
I wanted to see more people wait to be invited in. Like Sinners had that. I wanted the vampires to have to be invited in somewhere.
That's a good example. Yeah, that's pretty essential to a lot of vampire stories, and this has no care for that. It's like
no.
And obviously, these myths are all they're across countless cultures, and they all have different rules. So it's like you can play fast and loose with them. But yeah, like the sunscreen part was funny. I'm like, this is when he's just standing out there, he's all white. I'm like, this is really stupid.
Yeah.
But you do get that good scene where they have it. They stand out with him while he burns. It's like, okay, take one for the other.
There's a bad example of this. I don't know. I don't even remember what the movie is, but it's like a 2000s Dracula movie because there's another mythology where they have to count grains of rice. You guys seen this one?
Yeah.
And so they like to get away from him. They throw a bag of rice on the ground, and he just counts it within a split second. He's like 2,568,112, and then he keeps chasing him, and it's like, oh, that's just really lame. Anyway, I wish I could remember what movie that is. He just instantly counts all the grains of rice and keeps chasing them.
It's like, what's the point of having that? Very silly. All right, Blade 2. Whilst on the search for his mentor, Abraham Whistler, Blade uncovers a new threat to vampires and humans alike, forcing him to team up with his sworn enemies to prevent total annihilation. Do you guys like these synopses? I wrote them.
Really?
I thought they were pretty good. Yeah.
I actually enjoy your synopses because I just get them straight from IMDb, and sometimes they are hot garbage.
That's the thing. You're looking at them, they're really bad.
Conan, can you tell me why we should care about Guillermo del Toro?
Other than
All right.
Well, I mean, I think I have a reason why I care about him, but he seems to have a bit of a mythos around him. And I'm actually not I don't totally understand why.
Yeah, all right, good question. I didn't really delve deep into him for this. I probably should have. He is kind of this, in the same vein as all this time, like these movies have a certain 2000s sort of edge to it, right? Like the 90s into the 2000s it's the time of like emo music is transitioning from old to what we sort of know now. It's the time of anxiety. It's the time of general edginess, and like the occult is becoming big. Like you still got the Satanic Panic, and so things like heavy metal are becoming really pervasive, and this is all sort of like witchcraft is all a little bit more in the modern sort of zeitgeist. So this is a time of like truly kind of colliding in that sense. Like you're in the postmodern era, and so spirituality is really becoming a bit lost because you got Gen X coming up and they're looking for new stuff. And I think Guillermo del Toro kind of like what's his face? The guy who did like kind of like Tim Burton. You know, Tim Burton is the goth guy for teenage girls. Guillermo del Toro is kind of like the goth guy for everyone else, for teenage boys. He kind of generally respects the gothic and gothic in more of a traditional sense, like the when you think of gothic, like classic Dracula, like that sort of old German architecture. You know, the presence of the sense of dread and foreboding. And I think his movies really kind of deal with this interesting supernatural collision. Like his earliest movie, I think it's what is it? The Devil's Backbone. The Devil's Backbone. His first thing he makes is kind of like a small indie foreign film. Becomes really interesting because I think he's Spanish, and it's kind of like the collision of history and politics with the supernatural, and that's kind of like I think that taps into something in that time, like in the 90s and 2000s. This kind of post-Christian, post-modern time when lots of religions are floating, people looking for answers. I just think his styling and it's like he deals with a lot of that, and so you've got Devil's Backbone in that.
Hellboy was
He ends up
super.
doing pardon.
Hellboy.
So yeah, he ends up doing Blade 2, and then 2 years later he does Hellboy. These are both like very unconventional superhero movies. Hellboy obviously deals with Nazi occultism, and so I just think he kind of like because he's Spanish, he gives an interesting perspective to Hollywood that we hadn't really seen, and like a lot of people click with that. You know, we're seeing that now with that guy who makes Emma Stone films. You know, Poor Things and who's the guy I'm thinking of?
You're the film guy, apparently.
What's his name? Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, when I get on my rant,
you are right. Yorgos Lanthimos.
When I get on my
correct.
yeah, I forget details. Yorgos Lanthimos now is like the hottest thing in Hollywood. He's making a shit ton of films because he's just like this interesting Greek director who has a different point of view that Western Hollywood doesn't. And Guillermo del Toro was that in the 2000s, like this Spanish guy coming in, seeing the value of folklore and history and supernatural and how they sort of how those stories shape us. And so he goes make it. Like Blade 2 is, I think, is that his second or third film? Sorry, no, he does Kronos, Mimic, Devil's Backbone, Blade 2. That's his first American film. And so he comes in with a bit of style, then he gets Hellboy 2 years later, then he gets Pan's Labyrinth 2 years later. And Pan's Labyrinth is really where he becomes like the Tim Burton.
Like
the Tim Burton of not teenage girls. Where he like Pan's Labyrinth is amazing, and that is truly this idea of like this collision between history and myth and a childlike insight and all that. And so he just kind of becomes, I think, that like he is like a voice that a lot of people didn't realize they were looking for. And so to have him start making films, just people click with it.
Yeah, because like I like a lot of his movies. I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, but
neither.
Like I like the Hellboy movies probably more than I should. Pacific Rim is a really good movie. Like I really like Pacific Rim, and now Blade 2, and I'm like, do I just really like Guillermo del Toro? Because I just never got it. I never understood why people liked him so much, but maybe I get it now. I don't know.
We like, why is Hideo Kojima so obsessed with him? Like, why?
Well, I think this movie might be the reason because it's got Norman Reedus in it as well.
Exactly. This is thought too. Yeah.
Hideo Kojima had a boner this whole movie. I think.
I think so. Like watching Blade 2, Blade 2 is kind of like just Blade 1, but better. Like it's got more style. I think it's got more style. It's got more uniqueness to it. It's got more flavor. And so whether you're aware of it or not, it's like, oh yeah, this is someone who's just who's got an eye for this stuff, who's got a sort of a vision and a point of view. And so yeah, I don't think anybody necessarily came. I knew that Guillermo del Toro directed this because I loved the Hellboy movie, and so when I was younger, I was looking for this. But yeah, I think he just kind of his sensibilities people are into because Pan's Labyrinth Hellboy. Then he's into apparently he directed PT, which I don't understand that. I thought I don't understand how he directed that video game, but he's credited as it, so whatever that means.
That's just Kojima throwing one to his boy, I reckon.
Casting credit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of all interesting products. Like he makes Pinocchio, and he like combines that with the the Italian fascist movement.
Shape of Water was huge.
Yeah, I actually don't really like that movie that much, but ended up
The,
well, it won Best Picture, I think.
the Troll Hunters TV show is really, really good, and he's all over that.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I think it's like because it's like the growing up and being into fairy tales and into stories. Like I think we're all big nerds. We were kind of like that, we love video games and we love stories and we love this sort of like culture. He's a guy who loves that as well. Like he loves fairy tales. He loves mythology. Like he made a movie called Nightmare Alley, which is all about freak shows and those kind of like those supernatural carnival sides and stuff.
I always
So
wonder.
he's kind of like us, whereas like he grew up and was like, yeah, this dark shit, and I love that stuff because it's kind of reflective of this dark shit.
I
So I think he
always
just embodies that. Yeah.
wonder what the world would have looked like if we'd gotten his Hobbit movie, because he was quite into making the Hobbit.
he?
before.
Was he
Yeah.
doing that?
Like for 2 years, he made a lot of it. So even a lot of the character designs from the first Hobbit, like the Goblin King and everything like that, are Guillermo del Toro. And then there was like creative differences, and there was his thing was scrapped like well into development, and Peter Jackson took over and basically did it in a very quick time to finish
Just
up.
made the
finish
same
off and
film he'd already made.
change things. Yeah, it was very interesting, but apparently it was pretty different in a lot of parts as well. But fascinating documentary on it. You should watch it. It's really
That would be really interesting. Like that would be a very fascinating take because he does that like 3 times. He's made 3 like fairy tale movies that have really dark undertones. So he would. That is
and it
his
seems like
ballpark.
Warner Brothers were like they wanted that because it was going to be let's make this different, like a different take. But then Warner Brothers were like, no, can we just have this be Lord of the Rings? Like we want this to be more Lord of the Rings light, please. And so they just because Peter Jackson was sort of involved with Del Toro. He was like helping assist with it, like executive producer or something. And then they just were like they scrapped it on and made him director. So
yeah, right. That's a shame. That's
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
But yeah, Blade 2 is awesome. I really liked this movie.
It's a good movie.
Like having, the cast of vampires that are going to be like the hunters with him and all this sort of stuff, and hunting this new like breed, which are also really cool. Like I love the Reapers.
The monster designs are awesome. Yeah, really, really good.
Really, really cool.
That's the other thing that Guillermo's all about. Like, monsters. Like he's great at just making terrifying monsters and creepy creatures.
Like, and that's the thing, like, I feel like we've seen so many like iterations of this type of design of like, the Demogorgon or whatever with like the face splitting open and like obviously Alien did it before this, but like with the mouth inside the mouth as well. It's just,
Predator
it's so creepy and done so well, and they're so effective as like the antagonists in this. Ron Perlman is great.
So good.
And that's the thing. Blade has charismatic people to interact with in this one, and bounce off of, and that makes this such a stronger film than the first one, I think. And it's I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, you get a great dynamic with like him and Norman Reedus, and then Whistler comes into it, and you're not really like the whole time I was watching it. I remembered it as Whistler was the traitor. And so the whole time I was like, oh, when's he going to turn? And like the movie kind of leans into that in parts.
It does, yeah. Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, he's not on the rooftop when he's supposed to be. And then obviously does the double twist, and Reedus is there. And then like, so with those, the kind of 4 or 5 elements, because then you got the vampires, and some of them are trying to help him, but Ron Perlman's trying to kill him. And it is really fun drama in every situation. It's the ragtag band trying to solve it. And like, all the crew have got like a special power. There's one guy with the hammer. There's one guy who's fast. There's one guy who's Irish. They've all kind of got one identifiable feature that just
and the different guns and stuff. Yeah, lots of fun. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie.
Donnie Yen was wasted. I wanted him in it more though.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But his DNA's all over. Like I said, like he kind of helped with all the fights, and it's why they feel so much so cool.
And that's the thing. I think it's a big upgrade from the first one when it comes to choreography and fights and everything like that. And obviously Donnie Yen is a huge part of that. But this has that style that I wanted in the first one more. And a lot of really cool scenes in this one.
Yeah, a lot more humor in this one as well. I think like the first one's not without it, but the first one is also pretty serious for most of it.
Mm.
This one kind of takes itself less seriously. It knows that it's all a little bit wacky. It knows how to have fun with that a bit more. Like, what is it? There's a scene where Blade kisses his car. Okay. It's like, yeah, man loves his car. That's fun. Like, Scud, Norman Reedus is so over the top at times. Like, this is beyond silly, but it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something cool about that. The autopsy of the Reaper, where they've like got it cut open and they're checking it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's still pumping blood, and they put a little bit in there, and it like starts to writhe because it's trying to eat.
Yeah.
Really great monster design.
Showing like the hard shell around the heart as well, like to protect it. It's like really cool, like anatomy stuff. So to see how they,
Just and seeing the guy turn and just seeing his jaw split, it's all so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening scene is great, where like you think he's a junkie, and the vampires are getting him, and they're like, haha, we're gonna eat you. And it's like, oh no. And just kind of like the turn, and it's like, oh shit, this is great, but also scary because he's gonna be super bad. Like a really good sort of subversion.
He hates vampires. It's great.
So cool. What else? Oh, the hunt through the club scene is really, really good. Yeah, like where they're sort of stalking through because they know the Reapers are going to come, and so they're all going separate ways, and it's just a little bit more tense. And you kind of, I don't know, you always know where you are in there. You know where everyone is, and you're waiting for their foot to drop. And then when you start to see them, you sort of realize, oh, there's like these Reapers are everywhere. There's lots of them. It's not just one or two. It's like there's a shit ton, and it sort of starts to dawn on you that they're outnumbered, and these guys are really scary. It's very tense, but also just very fun to watch.
The turnaround for them to turn into the Reapers as well, like 20 minutes or whatever, as opposed to like a day or two. So they're just recruiting this army.
Ups the stakes, yeah.
Yeah, I like that scene. Obviously, you got Scud in the truck and everything like that, the van, and you got Whistler on the roof. It's really cool. I like them sort of scenes where you've got all these different people in different spots having their own individual battle. You know, like the ones trying to get in the car and he's ramming them and all this sort of stuff. It's good. It keeps you captivated.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sewer scene's good too. Like they're kind of getting hunted. Like it almost feels like a zombie movie for a bit in there. It's pretty good.
A lot of them. There's a lot of them in there.
There's a lot in there, yeah.
Yeah, see, I think that's because that's when you get the betrayal as well, where was it Perlman and the other guy are like actually going to try to kill him.
Yeah,
and that's I know. I kind of you sort of expected, but I'd forgotten because you're like, surely not. You guys are dealing with a real threat here, but they
couldn't get over their differences.
They just can't. Yeah, that's right. People are just so short-sighted, man. Vampires also.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the whole twist, with it's the dad that's like trying to breed the perfect vampire, and the Reaper getting its revenge on him at the end and everything like that. It's really good.
Yep. Concur. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good film. Really good.
Blade's still freaking cool.
He's cool. He's still cool. Maybe even cooler.
Wesley Snipes still loves this shit. It's like you can feel the passion. Yeah, I didn't take many notes with this movie because I was just having a good time.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that they just explode when they're exposed to light, like just burst into flames. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's cool. CGI is a bit better. I think the only time the CGI is bad in this is when they sort of go into fight scenes and you can tell it's like a completely CGI Blade jumping around and punching people.
Yeah, there is a couple scenes like that.
A couple scenes where it's like the silhouette of them and it looks really weird. But outside of that, I like, especially because obviously a lot of it would have been physical effects, but like the prosthetics on the Reapers look really cool. Like they're just, it looks really good for a 2002 film for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, step up from the first one, I think, and with the CGI, definitely. Like, and like, what's the budget difference? It's like not a huge amount. It's like 54 million versus 45 million, so definitely more, but not. It's not like they doubled their money or anything. Like they just sort of seem to do more with less. Do you guys agree with the Metascore of 52?
All of these feel like they have a very low. I mean, the third one we'll get to, I guess, but first and the second one feel like they have a pretty low Metascore.
Yeah, I'd really forgotten it was this disregarded.
Hmm.
It's a real shame. I know, I guess stuffy critics didn't appreciate the edginess back then.
No.
All right, should we talk Blade 3? Anything else to mention about 2?
No, I
Nope.
just
All
like all of Ron Perlman's guns. He's got this shotgun with UV lights on it, and then later on he's got a pistol with a blade on it, big blade on it. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, you're a Ron Perlman fan, aren't you? Ever since Alien Resurrection.
I think I am actually. Yeah.
Is he kind of playing the same character?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
He's got a real like magic of being that guy, like the guy, the reluctant ally who the hero has to side with. I don't know. It's just because he's big.
Hmm.
Anyway, all right. Blade 3. Blade gets framed for murder and is arrested, which keeps him distracted whilst a group of vampires try and find Dracula himself, the first vampire, to once again ensure vampire supremacy. This film wastes an incredibly good idea, like bringing Dracula into it.
Yeah.
In this pursuit again of it kind of goes back to the silly like plot of the first one. There's some ultimate vampire god, and we're going to become the best vampires if we do this. And I don't know. It's a pretty dumb plot, and that's just the first sin committed in this movie, and there are a lot of sins.
The idea of I like the idea of it being Dracula. Like the synopsis had me kind of hyped for it. And
I like the design of Dracula too in this. Yeah. Dominic Purcell's cool, but then like his form when he's Dracula is cool. Like there's some good design there, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't like it at all.
Really?
Dominic Purcell, every part of him, every time he's on the screen, I wanted to vomit. He's awful. He is just terrible. Like
that's an Australian you're talking about.
Is he Australian?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Australians, but we just can't act.
Take that, Hugh Jackman.
That makes so much sense.
He's probably got him in the Prison Break.
Sorry, look, there's one or two that are okay. All the ones that are good, yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Purcell and Hugh Jackman. So they're the two standout Aussie actors in history.
That scene where he's walking up the street slow mo, and the crowd is like walking fast. It's awful.
Not his fault. Then there's the shot of him like walking with like the CGI city, just like it's like a super zoomed in version of him, and like it's like sunset in the background. It looks so bad, like a music video. It looks like a Creed music video or something like that. But I was all about it. I was like, oh yeah, this is so cheesy. It's great. And he's got all like his chains on. He's like, yeah, I'm a gangster, you know. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's a
Deadpool. It's Deadpool.
It's uncanny how much like he's been trying out for Deadpool since 2004.
Even like the narrating starts, and I was like, "Am I watching Deadpool already? Like this feels like I'm watching Deadpool already." And it's just jokes. Like I was like, it's such a different vibe from the other two movies, where this one feels like what eventually the MCU will sort of take on its own thing of quip. To the point that watching it even seemed like Wesley Snipes was just sick of his shit. Like I feel like Wesley Snipes, this is probably why there was some issues between him and Ryan Reynolds behind the scenes. But like, I don't know, it feels very just taken over with trying to make jokes about everything. But some of it hits, some of it's like mildly entertaining, but not really.
There's a handful of moments. There's his iconic quote, "You cock juggling thunder cunt," is pretty standout.
It's pretty good. Yep.
And that's the
liberal use of the word cunt in this movie actually comes up again. Yeah,
pretty daring for 2004. But all of his other line delivery is pretty bad. Like when he's sort of introducing his group, he's like, "We call ourselves the Night Stalkers," and he's talking about the ammunition. He's got these ones. I call them sun dogs. It's like, stop introducing things that way. It just sounds so bad. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, even like they make jokes about that where Blade's like, "You're riding this doll, fuck you." Is that a joke to you? It's like, yeah, that's. I had the same vibe. Like, why does this whole movie feel like a joke? Why does it feel like it's sort of taking the piss out of itself?
And I felt like this was the first one where it felt like Wesley Snipes didn't even have the passion for it either. Like it did.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the same Blade for me.
Yeah. So do you guys know much about the story behind this? And
I know nothing. Was he worried about his tax woes? Is that why
Probably.
he couldn't act?
He was distracted. He was like, "I'm going to jail any day now. I can't
It's like
be
they're
here."
gonna be
I haven't
onto
paid
me,
taxes in 10 years.
surely.
My accountant's not that good.
Yeah, he had
Hopefully
bigger
this
things to
movie
worry.
bombs because otherwise they're really going to be shining the spotlight on me.
Otherwise, I'm screwed. Well, according to Patton Oswalt, he sort of reported most of this, I think. And Ryan Reynolds supported this. Due to both studio interference and a dislike between Wesley Snipes and David S. Goyer, it just made the production really, really troubled. So Snipes apparently really hated the script. He didn't want to have Goyer as director. I think Del Toro was meant to be originally, but he dropped this to do Hellboy because he got offered that. And the way Patton Oswalt put it is like Wesley Snipes seemed to have some sort of breakdown almost, where he started basically only would respond to the name Blade. He would communicate with people via post-it notes or his assistant, and he just avoided interacting with anybody else. He wouldn't come out of his trailer. And so then scenes that didn't require like close-ups of his face, they filmed with his stand-in. That's why there are so many shots in this of like over-the-shoulder Blade, because they just didn't have him on set for half of it. And then apparently him and Ryan Reynolds clashed. There was racial slurs. Snipes was accusing him of racism. He was calling Ryan Reynolds a cracker. So it just seems like a really unhappy, uncivil thing. And obviously you can't make a good movie in that environment. So I guess they did the best they did. But yeah, like very notoriously troubled production. Nobody seemed to want to be doing this much, unfortunately. And as a result, we got what we got.
I was like, we had the ragtag crew in number 2, and then we get another one here, and it just doesn't compare, right? Like, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is doing his best Ryan Reynolds, but that is what it is. Jessica Biel can't really act her way out of a paper bag.
I don't understand why she's ever been big. Like, she's just really uninteresting. Not a great actress.
Because she was the cute girl from Seventh Heaven.
Is that what? Yeah, okay.
Jacked. She's jacked.
She's,
like,
yeah.
Some shot, her shoulders, like, she's ripped. She worked out for this movie for sure.
Yeah.
You get Natasha Lyonne being blind for some reason, doing not much. Like, Patton Oswalt is in there for 5 seconds. Like, I don't know. This movie's weird.
It is. Very strange choices, yeah. Again, it really feels like the Alien Resurrection thing. We're following after, like, 2 pretty serious horror action films. They make it sort of more fun. Scene. Yeah, there is. It's like they make it kind of silly and goofy, and it's like, let's just have fun with it instead of being serious. It's like, you're missing the point a bit. As much
Triple
as
H. Triple H is in it.
Yeah. Tell me about Triple H, Luke. What's his deal?
Oh, well, now he's like, the COO of WWE. Back then, this is early days. This was like peak Triple H in WWE, where he had creative control of his character and he was winning every match ever and was the world champion for years. It was a nightmare. He's pretty goofy in this though. He's not like cool. You know what I mean? Like the scenes where like he's chasing after him shooting, he looks like a fucking goofball some of the times. Like his reactions, like, and then he'll run away and he's like, oh, like running. He has his little Pomeranian vampire dog with the Demogorgon mouth, which is kind of weird. But some of his stuff with Ryan Reynolds is kind of funny. Like I do like their sort of interaction and banter and stuff like that. I like how angry he gets when he kicks him in the face. He's like, "And when did you see my dick?"
A lot of dick talk in this.
A lot of dick talk. Yeah.
Dick talk.
And even Parker Posey's like, "Oh, that triggers my envy." I'm like,
so strange.
What is this?
That's so strange. Why?
So strange. She's such a strange character. Oh, it's weird. It's just so weird.
Yeah, she's really wasted in this. Like Parker Posey, really good actress.
Yeah.
Kind of everyone just seems to be bringing weird energy to this movie, and I can only suspect just nobody really cared at this point. Everyone was like, "This is a mess. It's going to be shit. Let's just." But I don't know. It still made a lot of money, like 150 mil. This movie was a success. 130 mil rather. So I don't know. People were still turning out for Blade, I guess, but.
Yeah, so the scene where he had his eyes CGI opened, I didn't see it in the movie. So is that a deleted scene or was it like? Because you guys didn't see it, because it's very obvious. You would have seen the clip over the years?
I
There's like
actually
a
think
scene
I
of
have,
him laying on the table. It's like the one at the end where it then turns into Dominic Purcell. But it's like a shot of Blade, and then his eyes open, but you can tell it's like super CGI. If you just Google Blade CGI eyes, you should see a video of it.
Oh
And
yeah, just
apparently the
bad.
whole thing was, it's so bad. Like, and apparently the whole thing is he just refused to open his eyes in that scene when the director was telling him to, and so they had to CGI his eyes opening.
So is that not in the movie?
No, because he just changes to Dominic Purcell. So it must have been a deleted scene or something that they still released on the DVD for people to be able to see it. So they shouldn't have committed, man. They shouldn't have committed.
Yeah, I think there are some interesting deleted scenes on here. Yeah, that is pretty bad looking though. Just from that.
Yep. It's just CGI. He's just laying like, nah, not going to open my eyes. What do you think of the final showdown fight?
Dominic Purcell, don't like him.
I don't remember it. Yeah.
Anytime he's on screen, I want to say, why is Dominic Purcell here?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I don't know. I think by that point I'd kind of checked out, and so I don't really remember it very well.
Yeah. No, it definitely was a lackluster way to end watching these movies, where I was like, man, why haven't I watched these? Blade's so cool. And then watching this one and just being like, early 2000s movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is annoying me. Yeah.
Do you guys? We haven't really talked about Whistler at all, or Chris Christopherson.
I like Whistler. I like his presence. I don't know why he really reminds me of Jeff Bridges through these ones where I kept being like, Jeff Bridges, and I'm like, it's not, but it's like I like his presence and his character. He dies like 3 times throughout the movies, but
Yeah, he's pretty unceremoniously killed in number 3 too.
Yeah. So because the second one is like all about Blade getting him back.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of like dies and it's like, all right, let's move on now. It is a bit shit.
And then he has a secret daughter.
Apparently there's deleted scenes that explain all this as well and go to more effort. Yeah, I don't know. You don't really need to have Jessica Biel be his daughter, but
No, what does it add? Yeah.
I guess
it's a way to link them to Blade, right? But
yeah.
It's bizarre for this group to come out of the woodwork only after Whistler dies, right?
Yeah. Like,
bizarre.
We're going to get you out of jail. We've been following you or helping you. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Chris Christopherson is a really good presence in all these. They've got a really good rapport for the most part.
Good chemistry together. They seem like buddies that are like have had this history of just hunting vampires and couple of cowboys, you know.
But he's too old for his shit. Yeah.
And he can just make literally any sort of technology in a scrappy back room.
Mm-hmm.
I do like every movie. Like, cool, I've made you a ventilator now, so you don't have to worry about injections. I've made you this new tool that like disintegrates everything. He's always cooking up good ideas, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have much else to say about this one.
No. So, what happens with Blade? What is the legacy of Blade? Like, will we get the Mahershala Ali Blade, or is it destined to be this is it for the foreseeable future? And are you okay with that? Do you want to see Blade come back? Because Mahershala Ali would make a great Blade. I think he's got that style and that riz. And I've been keen on it, but it seems like it's in development hell where it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels right for a remake, right? Like cult classics, popular movie. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird that they can't manage to get it off the ground. Seems strange.
I don't really understand it. Like, from all reports, it seems there's like been 6 or 7 different scripts and no one's really happy with them, so they keep getting scrapped. And then
because who's tied to it? Who's the director?
Well, at one point it was meant to be or he was connected. What's his face? The Sinners guy. I
was going to say, surely it'd be Ryan Coogler. Right?
Ryan Coogler. And apparently, he was connected with it in some way, and that's why he made Sinners part of the reason was because Blade wasn't happening. So it's like, screw it, I can make my own vampire film. They sold a lot of the assets and like costumes to Sinners from the early production of the Blade film. So it's like it just seems to be, I don't know, like Marvel. I
So,
don't know, Marvel's
well, there you go.
micromanaging or something.
Ryan Coogler was previously involved in Marvel's Blade reboot, reportedly for a 1920s era period piece. So it was
So that's what I
basically
mean,
Sinners.
So
It
yeah,
was
he
Sinners.
just goes on to make Sinners instead.
Yeah,
And like,
okay.
we're all happy that he did, but
Some of us
you
more
aren't
so
that-
than others. Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
my
you
god,
weren't that happy.
dude. God.
Blade would have been 5-star. But yeah, no, it's that because you'd think that's the person to go to for this.
Yeah, could you do that now though? Because it would feel weird for him to do it now, right? Where it's like I made Sinners, and 2 years later I made Blade, which is just Sinners again.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. It's. I don't. Yeah. I don't know. It's. I guess it's like a precious property to somebody. I don't. But
And okay, so what direction would you take this? Would you take this in cool Vampire Slayer? Would you go more horror, like make this a Marvel horror movie? Because if you go Marvel horror, do you get someone like Jordan Peele or somebody like
I
don't know.
cannot imagine him touching this with a 10-foot pole,
No.
but
yeah,
No?
absolutely not.
yeah. No,
I don't know, what did you do?
yeah, it would be interesting. I don't see a 1920s getting off the. How do you? I suppose you could tie him 19. He's probably immortal, right? He could live in the 1920s and then in the 2025s. I just Marvel. Everything has to tie back to the MCU, right? Like that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
So
that's
if they get away from that, then that maybe leaves room for them to do a horror movie. I don't know, but the state of Marvel at the moment, I don't know. I have no hope that they'll do something interesting.
That feels like the main problem. Yeah, is like where would they fit this in? And that's probably what kept delaying it. Is like, what does this serve in the grand narrative? And kind of nothing. Like Blade is very much a side character and a sort of like a pretty separate and obscure to the rest. Like these, the nature of Marvel comics and all comics is that you could have like 100 different storylines, unrelated, all running at once, and occasionally some of them would collide. And the MCU is unfortunately made its entire model as one where everything collides. And so, if they start to branch away from that, I think they could pretty easily do. They could pretty easily, have do the DCU thing. Just have a random Blade film and be like, this is its own continuity, it's unrelated, that's great. But if they do want to have it all connected, there's really no natural way to bring in this random vampire hunter, because why is he there? Like, where are the vampires coming from?
So-
We've never had them before. I guess Morbius?
he's been there though because Blade is in the Eternals post-credit scene, so he
The
technically
Eternals
introduced-
post, is he?
Yeah, I know you guys are missing out. Like
I'm sure.
I'm gonna watch that whole
Ali's-
movie just for that.
Mahershala Ali's voice is talking to another character who's a character from the Blade comics, and you can hear Mahershala Ali's voice talking to him, and that's his introduction. But you don't see Blade, but he's talking to someone who's a Blade character, and you can hear him talking, and that's the post-credit scene. So technically, he's been introduced, but so is bloody Thanos' brother, who's played by Harry Styles in another post-credit scene in that movie.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But again, like, what is the point of bringing him in, though? Being like, I'm here to, because his whole thing is I fight vampires. So if he comes in, what does he do? I'm here to fight. Like, who's he fighting, right?
I mean, is he not allowed to fight anything other than vampires? I mean, I guess his whole shtick is that's his whole reason to exist, right? Like he turns down the ability to be turned into a human at the end of the first movie. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't fit with his character very well. I would agree.
Maybe it'll turn out to be a thing that they'll go through all the Marvel movies and be like, this person was actually a vampire.
They're all secretly vampires.
Zemo was a vampire, like all these people.
I mean, I joke, but in the continuity, he does get in like a fight with Morbius. I think Morbius bites him, and so there is like.
It's Morbin time.
There is
time
grounds
to bring
for
Jared Leto into
them to
MCU.
interact. So I don't know if eventually like they try to introduce those side characters in and do something that way. Maybe.
I think at one point that was the plan. I don't think it's the plan anymore.
I don't know though. The MCU never had any rights to Morbius, right? Like,
no.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean more like I can't see Blade being in the plan anymore.
Yeah, neither. But
it's going to Doom. It's bringing all these people back. It's
but
like
Blade has been the one that people have been waiting for so long. People have been like hungering for this,
thirsting for it.
yeah, it's such a strange thing to just be like, no, we just won't do it. We won't do it. We won't do it. I don't know. I really do want to see it, even though I don't think it'll be nearly as cool. I would like to see this character being introduced. I would like to see the MCU to do it because potentially they do it really well and they make a very cool updated version.
Potentially.
That's a lot of hope for the MCU.
Look, at this point, I'm just jaded. So I'm just want anything really. I want nothing and anything at the same time. I don't know what I want from them.
Yeah,
I just want Mahershala Ali to get good roles.
I just want to go back to 2008 and be young and hopeful with the world and looking forward to the next Marvel movie. Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
Would you watch a new Blade movie with Wesley Snipes playing like an old man Blade?
Absolutely. Logan it?
Yeah.
Get
Logan
Logan
it?
Blade where he's like, I'm done. Yes.
Supposedly one of the writers attached to the movie, according to IMDb, is one of the writers of Logan. So
shit.
Halfway there.
Yeah, okay. Maybe this can happen.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, look, if we got nothing else, I guess we can wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Worst.
Are we gonna rank them?
Oh, yeah, we are. True.
Is it too obvious?
I think so.
Obvious. 2-1-3.
2-1-3, yeah.
It's 2-1-3.
Yeah.
That's the official ratings. We all agree. This never happens. This is exciting.
How exciting.
Okay.
Yep.
Luke, you're up next. What are we doing?
So, something a bit lighthearted and a bit lesser time commitment. We are doing a duology since we're famous for doing those. So there's only 2 movies in this series, but technically the second one shows a preview of the next 6 movies in this series. So we are going to do
Jump Street.
21 and 22 Jump Street. Yes.
I wish they would do some of those other 6 movies, but anyway.
I was tripping me out when I IMDb'd it. It lists a bunch of Jump Streets, and I was like, "That's just from the second one." I was like, "No, they're not real movies." So I don't think, and it seems like we're not getting a 23 Jump Street anytime soon, and things have changed for people involved and stuff like that. So it doesn't look like it's happening.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since I watched these films, but I really enjoyed them, and I feel like a good comedy is needed. So
Jonah Hill should have never lost that weight.
and I love Channing Tatum. So
Yeah.
good.
All right, cool. Simple, exciting. I like it. All right, well, thank you, everybody, again. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe us if you enjoy our stuff. Follow us on all socials that we're super active. Make sure to put on the notification bell on YouTube. I think that's a thing.
Click the bell.
I wrote some books. Taste Divine, The God Grotesque. Please buy them. That's it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.